Tal Kadosh, Boker Or, Mishna Yomi Masechet Sanhedrin, Perek Yud Aleph, chapter 11. We are on Mishnah Bet and Gimel, 2 and 3. Mishnah Bet says, Zaken Mamre al pi bedin. When you have a Zaken Mamre, right, that obviously he's coming and this is like an elderly that he's going against all the other Chachamim. So obviously it's al pi bedin. Shneimar, but it says, Yipaleh mimicha davar la mishpat. What does that mean? That if a matter of judgment is hidden from you. So obviously we're talking about that he's going against the entire Bedin, not just Stam that he's going against the rabbis, right? He's going against the Bedin. Shlosha bati denina yusham. There were actually 3 courts in Yerushalayim. Echad yoshev al petach harabait. One was going to be in the entrance of the Temple Mount of Harabait. Echad yoshev petach hazara. One of them is going to be in the entrance of the Azara. Ve'echad yoshev b'lishkat gazit. And one of them is going to be in Lishkat Gazit. You actually have the picture there. You have the picture, right? If everyone sees the picture, we just over here, right? You have the Lishkat Gazit, which is the higher court, which is over here, is Lishkat Gazit, the lower Sanhedrin and lower Sanhedrin. Okay? So now he comes and he says like this, right? He says, Ba'im, right? Lezesh al petach harbayit. So let's say you have a chacham, right? And his local court that they disagree. First they go to the entrance of the Temple Mount. Right? Ve'omer, kach Rashi, kach Shulchan Aruch. He comes and he says, listen, this is what I was doresh, this is what my friends were doresh. Right? Ve'kach limati, ve'kach limdu chaverai. Im shamu omrim lahem. Right? If right now the judges come and they say that they heard the relevant law from their teachers, they tell it to them. V'im lav, ba'in lem l'tov shel petach hazara. So then it goes to a higher court. So if you realize each one is the higher court, meaning obviously the Lishkat Gazit is the highest of, that's the Supreme Court, if you want to call it, right? That's the highest of all the courts, right? But you first went to the lower one, which was by the Petach, right, of the Temple Mount, right, of the Harabait, right? Vim Lav, and if not, they go to the one of the Petach Hazara. Ve'omer, kach tarachi v'kach tarshu chaverai. This is what I was doresh, or that's what I taught. This is what my friends taught. Im shamu, if they heard the halacha, omrim them, they tell them. Vim lav elu v'elu. Then everybody goes to the Betina Gadol shel Lishkat Gazit. That's called the Betina Gadol of the Lishkat Gazit. Shemimenu yotzet Torah lakol Yisrael, right? Because from there, that's where the Torah is going to all of Yisrael. Shneimar, it says a pasuk. From that place which HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose, and therefore that's again where the Lishkat Gazit is. What happens if he returns to his town and he learns and he teaches as he did before, which means he doesn't change his opinion, right? He's not liable. He doesn't get killed. But if he paskins that that's what you're supposed to do, then he's chayav mita. Meaning, if he just taught that this is, but he didn't tell them what to do. He just said, this is the way that I teach, right? And again, he was already proven wrong, right? He's only a zaken mamre when he actually paskins, this is what you're supposed to do l'maaseh. Shneimar va'isha asher ya'aseh bezadon eno chayav ad shiyoreh la'asot. He's not going to be chayav until he paskins that this is the way that you're supposed to act. Talmid she'ora la'asot patur. If you have a student that he's not qualified to judge at all, and he comes and he's going to paskin, right? He's going to be patur. Nimtzach umro kulo. So therefore, it says here that the seriousness of his sin is actually in the fact that it's going to be the leniency as well, because since he lacked qualification, meaning that he wasn't supposed to paskin anyway. So therefore, that's why, right, Bichal is going to be patur, right, in that sense in itself. Okay, fine. That was Mishnah Bet. Mishnah Gimel. Chomer b'divrei sofrim b'divrei Torah. There's something stricter about, right, the divrei sofrim more than even divrei Torah, which means words of the Chachamim even more than divrei Torah. Haomer en tefillin kedei la'avor al divrei Torah. What happens right now if you have a Chacham that he comes and he says there's no obligation to wear tefillin? Why? Because he wants to go against the Torah. Because the Torah says obviously that there is such an obligation. So he's going to be patur, right? He doesn't get killed because the obligation of wearing tefillin is mamash written mefurash in the Torah. So everybody knows about it. So nobody's going to make a mistake. So if nobody's going to make a mistake, right? It just that's just the way that it is. Chamesh totafot leosif. If he comes and he says though, right, al divrei sofrim. If he comes and he says no, but you know what? There's 5 boxes, not 4. Meaning we know that we have 4, right? 4 boxes, right? And it's all into one, right? All of a sudden he comes and he says there's 5. So in such a case where he's actually adding on, there he's going to be chayav. Why? Because there, since it's not written mefurash in the Torah and it's only by the Chachamim, right? It's going to be more stringent that which the Chachamim from there.